What's up, Mid-Michigan? Thank you so much for joining me at the Digital Desk. I'm your digital news anchor, Kyle Macon. And guys, it's a pretty beautiful day. It's sunny. It looks like it's going to be, looks like it's 56 degrees, or maybe that's the high of 56. No, that's actually what we're at right now. A high of 63 today with a low of 42. So a beautiful day, and you can't complain. But of course, we're at the Digital Desk. We're going to look at some of the big stories coming out of Mid-Michigan. We got a few stories, one about a hunter decline that's been happening for quite some time. We also have a new rule that MDOT is looking to propose at some of the resting areas that we have around the state. So yeah, let's get right into it and take a look at the big stories coming out of Mid-Michigan. Alrighty, so this first story was actually a special report I did. I'm a big hunter. I've been hunting all my life, pretty much since I've been a little kid. It's a passion of mine, or it's one of my favorite hobbies to do. It's almost like Christmas morning. But there's an issue. Obviously, there's less hunters than there has been before. And so far, we've lost 200,000 deer hunters in the last 25 years. So officials with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources say from 1995 to 2023, Michigan saw a 30% drop in hunters. As a result, we obviously know we're seeing a lot more crashes, a bunch of more dead deer on the side of the road, crop damage, and so much more stuff comes as a result. So obviously, I like hunting, but I wanted to take a look at what the effects of more deer population and why, even if you're not a hunter, why you should probably care that there's less hunters out there managing the population of white-tailed deer. So pretty much a survey done by the Michigan DNR. So they wanted to figure out why this was happening. So they did a survey with hunters, outdoor organizations, and a bunch of other people. And they found that the aging population, so people that were hunting, my dad, my grandpa, and all them, that are getting older, some of them eventually will get to the ability where they can't hunt any longer. So age is a really limiting factor. Also, obviously, access to land. Not a lot of people want to go out on public land. I know I have no issue with it, but some people do. And then also the youth are just not getting into hunting like they did before. So obviously, I would love to know in the comments why you guys think there's less hunters and what we can do about it to bring more hunters into Michigan. So pretty much when I was talking to the DNR, they just said that pretty much kids right now are a lot more busy than they used to be. And more that, not that they're more busy, but they're more mobile. A lot of times kids would stay around their hometowns. This pretty much coming from the DNR, they're believing that it's kind of more, they're more mobile. They're traveling across the country to go to school, maybe an athletic scholarship. So that was kind of one of the reasons they thought might be why the youth are not involved as much. But as a result of the less hunters, we've seen a deer population rise to over 2 million, with most of it being found in the southern part of our state. So obviously, you guys know that chronic wasting disease has been an issue, and so is bovine tuberculosis. And so that's one of the issues with having a high deer population is diseases spread a lot more common. I actually like this analogy a lot, just to explain why they spread more often. Just like when your kid's at home at a young age and they go to school and they're grouped together, they get sick all the time. That happens when deer are packed together as well. And also, the increase in the population can lead to food competition with other species, and in some cases, starvation. So obviously, deer eat pretty much anything off of the trees, shrubs, and any vegetation on the ground. And yeah, so pretty much with a high deer population, when the winter comes, the food is already scarce, but with you have a high population of deer, they're eating more stuff. So, your birds that you like, your squirrels and all that stuff. Well, now they're competing with people. Now they're competing with the deer population that's so high that, they're all competing to get food. And as a result, we can see starvation from the higher deer population just because of food. So another reason is, well, you see it on the side of the roads. I'm sure you drove to work today and you probably saw a deer on the side of the road, probably. You probably know someone that's hit a deer in the last few years. But in a study done by the state of Michigan, it shows that in 2023, there was 58,000 car accidents involving deer. And that's because there's just so many of them. So Rudolph says, which is the DNR officer I said, funding is also at stake too. Now here's this, it's a little confusing, but hopefully I'll break it down for you guys pretty easily. But why funding is also at stake is because deer licenses play a huge role in funding the Michigan DNR's wildlife fund. So 40% of their wildlife fund comes from federal funds. You're probably wondering, why does that matter when we're talking about the state? Well, so a big portion of those federal funds come from the Pittman-Robertson Fund, where companies who make guns, ammo, and other hunting equipment have to pay a tax. Then it goes right into a fund. And then based on how many deer licenses each state has, they get a bigger amount for more hunters. So with less hunters buying licenses, because we have less hunters, less money is coming from that federal fund back to our state to, run habitat stuff, different programs they run in the DNR. So that's a huge issue as well. And so pretty much, what are they doing about it? Well, we've obviously seen that they've increased hunter seasons. They've allowed it where in certain areas of the state, you can use a shotgun or rifle during muzzleloader season. They're offering free hunter safety classes. And they're just trying to bring people back into the sport. Now, there is some good news that I was talking to. Actually, women are hunting more than ever. So that's actually one of the good news that I found in this story. But yeah, pretty much I wanted to do is just show you guys the importance of having some hunters in your area. And if you guys want to try out hunting, public land is the best place to start. Obviously, you can go out there. You have to follow the rules and regulations. But on this article, you can actually find a link to the DNR's website, which will have a map of all the public land in our area. So you can go out there, try out hunting, obviously be safe, wear your hunter's orange, watch probably a YouTube video about what are the ins and outs of hunting and all that stuff. But pretty much YouTube and the internet is a great place if you don't know how to, field dress a deer or whatever, how to shoot the deer, numbers of things you can just find online. But moving over, obviously, that was a pretty big story I did yesterday. It was almost 4 minutes long that I did. But here's another one, and I'm sure you guys have seen this. MDOT is proposing a 48-hour limit to tackle extended vehicle stays at rest areas. So the Michigan Department of Transportation is asking for the public's input on new rules being proposed to address people staying at state rest areas for extended periods of time. So according to the MDOT, there are no regulations currently in place that limit how long someone can stay at rest areas, roadside parks, and carpool lots. So, well, obviously they run into some issues with that, because if people are staying a lot there, maybe they're setting up their camper and they're staying out there for a few days. They just don't want to do that, especially with, obviously liability issues, all that stuff. But yeah, so they're actually going to be holding I'm going to find it. So here's pretty much what the new rule they're trying to propose is maximum stay of 48 hours. Overnight parking is allowed, but no camping is allowed. Trash must go into the dumpsters. Dumping is prohibited. Dogs must be leashed, and no disruptive behavior. So obviously fireworks, noise, all that stuff. But I'm actually going to show you guys. So right here at the bottom of our website, you can actually find that they're asking for the public's input. So you can fill out a form so you can voice your opinion. So obviously, I'm sure you guys have gone to rest areas and have seen campers set up. People maybe even have their campers all set up in the parking lots. I actually saw that the other day. So yeah, this is just one way they're trying to figure out what they can do about that. But like I said, your input is really important in this. So if you guys want to have your voice heard, right here at the bottom of the article, you can fill out that form. And then moving over to my last story, I'd love to leave you guys off on a feel-good note. Factory 2 in Flint hosts their 8th annual Make the Space fundraiser. So their Factory 2, which is over in downtown, the downtown area, had the goal of raising $5,000. I haven't heard if they've made that, but the event was packed yesterday, so I'm sure they had a good chance of hitting that number. But the big reason why I wanted to talk about this is just because Factory 2 is a great resource for people in the Genesee County area. So it's pretty much a nonprofit that allows you to use their equipment to run a business or learn a new hobby. So right here, this person is learning how to make something out of wood. I think they're making bowls or cups or something like that. So you get to learn from professionals, and you can come out. You just got to pay a small membership fee, and you can actually run your business. So there's actually multiple businesses that come to this location, use their equipment, and make the products they sell. So it's a really good opportunity for anyone that's looking to start a business or just learn a new hobby or just learn a new skill. So Factory 2 is it was really cool to see. So you can learn how to 3D print, use a forge, make leather products, and like I said, so much more. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. If you guys are looking to start a business or get into a new hobby, Factory 2 is a pretty good place to start. But anyway, it has been a pretty busy last few days here at our station. But of course, we'll bring you guys the latest news we have today. But yeah, if there's anything crazy that happens, I'll jump right here at the digital desk, let you guys know about it. And once again, if there's anything you guys would like us to cover, leave it below in the comments. I'm looking for feel-good stories. But if there's any issues in your community we need to take a look at, let us know in the comments and we'll start looking. But anyway, hope you guys have a good one, and I will see ya when I see ya.